Hi, welcome to my video number 4. Alright, so today I'll talk on the variables. How do we do how to declare the variable in the programming? We are still in the very introductory part of doing a programming. Okay, as I explained in my previous video as well as in the Google Meet, the general structure of the programming is we have preprocessor that include standard IO.h, and we have include math normally if you involve any mathematical work, include math.h, and then we begin our programming with main that bracket, and then with that curly bracket, and then we end up with another curly bracket. Okay, so this part here, we have what we call as a declaration statement. This is what we call as head. Declaration statement. So what is declaration statement? What do we need to declare? So I will explain to you. And this part here is the process or the body of our program. It depends on the problem that we are going to solve. Now, for this particular video, I'll just talk on that declaration statement, how to declare what type of variable that we have, and I'll give you a few examples relating to that. Okay. Now, example of the variable, I just give you, let's say we have a problem that we have discussed earlier, that let's say we want to find the largest integer or largest number, A, B, C. Okay, between those three numbers A, B, C. So in this case, A, B, C, we consider it as a variable, because we put in, you can put in any number, and those number given to A, given to B, and given to C. So how to declare? So it depend to declare A, B, C. It depend on what type of A, B, C we have. Is it real or integer? Yeah, normally just real and integer. We also have complex, we also have character, we also have string. But for the beginning, just focus on real and integer first. So for this case, since normally we just put a integer number, let's say 1, 2, 3, 1 or 6, 4, 5, for example. All right, all those are integer numbers. So if that is integer number, so how do we declare those things? Is normally for integer, this part here. Okay, that part here, I put it here. Now we want to declare ABC as an integer. So for integer, the function in the built-in function in C, if you write integer int, so it recognizes those variable that related to int considered as a integer. So C understand those as an integer. So in this case, we can put A, B, C, end up with semicolon. So in this case, ABC is a ABC are integer variable. Okay, so in the main program here, the first parts, we need to declare this ABC as integer. So you can put that. So this thing you can put that. Okay, this is an example, very simple example. So other than that, for the variables, for the variable here, so we must begin with letters. So you can have like for example num. You can have some. You can have many more. You just name it, alpha, beta, and so on. But it must begin with letters. You cannot begin, for example, 4 n a. This is not integer. This is not variable, because if you put numbers here, then C cannot recognize this as a variable. So when you compile, it will give error. It will give you error. Okay, as well as if you put percentage, if you can put underscore, cannot. But we can, for example, you can put num for a. This is a variable. You can use that name as a variable. num for a, num. Basically any. You can put your name even. Consider as a variable. Okay. Now, if you look at the in your notes, page 18, the second chapter. We have variable, we have constant value. You can define those as a constant. Let's say, for example, you can define integer a equal to 5. So which means a hold the value 5. In this case, you cannot change the value, because this is considered as a constant. If you declare like that, ABC can be anything. Depend on how you input the data. It's depend on how you input the data. In this case, we input that way, so which means A is fixed 5. You cannot change it anymore. Okay. So if you look at your note here, we have a numeric constant that I give you example here. We also have character constant. Character constant is we give a variable with type character char, and then whatever character is A, B, C, and so on. Okay, so in this case, this is we call it as a type of those type of the variable. We must have those things. Type of the variable, and this is the variable. This is type of the variable, integer, and all those are variable. So if you want to declare, for example, you want it to have a decimal places, you want to decimal places as a real number, for example, then we can use a floats. You can use floats. I think floats. Yeah, floats. Or double. You can use floats. Float, for example, D, E, F. Okay. So if the variable is of type floats, so it means this variable can have decimal places. Okay, can have decimal places. If you want it, I think the decimal places up to 8 digits. If you want to make it bigger or longer, more decimal places to up to 16, then you can have double float. You can have double float with A, B, C, and so on. Okay, so all this ints, floats, double float. This is type of variable. Apart from that, we also have char, which is stand for character. Okay. What else we have? Here is an example. Okay, example. This is in the page 19 of your notes. Okay, we have integer, digit 0 through 9 you can use. Then for the real, you can have this kind of we can declare that way. So this is the type that we have here. For example, this floats D, E, F. So D can have this value 0.0056, negative, and so on and so forth. Okay, we can also write as an exponential form. All right, this is for character, single character, for B and all those things. This is a single character. String, this is type of variable, so you can give the value hello. So if you want to write those things, you declare as a string A equal to, let's say, name. Okay, name. So when we write A, print A, will come up as an output name. Okay, all right. So the data type that as I explained earlier here, in the data type, yeah, integer, float, double float, character. So we have data type, we have integer, an integer that I explained to you, the floating points. All right, C recognizes 3 floating points, the type real, imaginary, and complex. We can define those things: real, imaginary, and complex. So as a to summarize those things, yeah, this is normally what we use when we declare a variable. Is it its character, integer, floats, double, short integer, long integer. Normally I use just integer or float, as, or otherwise you want to use a very accurate or precise decimal places up to 16 decimal places, then you might need to use double, you need to use short and long and those things. Otherwise just use integer and float is enough. Okay, this is declaration of variable. Just that I gave you an example earlier. We have data type, integer or character or floats, and then followed by list of variable that we have. Okay, followed by list of variable that we have. The same example in here. Yeah, we have integer, data type is integer, variable A, B, C. Okay, I give you another example. Let's say we want to find in the previous video I showed to you how to evaluate n factorial. So in this case, what variable involved? We have f as a output of the factorial. We have n, and we have a counter. Okay, this is n is what factorial you want. You want 5 factorial, 6 factorial, 20 factorial, and so on. And also we have a counter m. So in this case, we have 3 variables. N is integer, m is integer, then definitely f is also integer. So in this case, if you want to write a program, we have predecessor part here, and you can put include and so on. And then we have main that, and then we have this, and then we declare those things. Since that is integer, so integer f and m. Okay, and then we need to close those things. For the process, later on. For the moment, I just want to explain, to introduce to you how to declare a variable. So I hope by now you understand what variable is, how to declare the variable. And here as well in the notes, you have example. This is data type. This is the variable names v1, v2, vn. This is another example. Okay, this is another example. Integer, so lower, upper, step, all these are variable names. Okay, and double, ratio. Ratio is a double. Floats, total, floats. Okay, so it means in this case total is a real number. Lower, upper, and step, integer. Okay, for double, it means double precision. Double precision means it's go to 14 digits. So you can ratio can take the values up to 14 digits. It's a huge number actually. Okay. Now, next, how do we assign a number? You want to give, for example, in this example, assign a number means I want to find 5 factorial, example, or I want to find 10 factorial. Okay, we want to give this value 5 and 10 in the program. Yeah, in the program. When we run, we don't have to input any data. The data is already so. So how do we do this? We have the program here. So if you want this, you just declare integer. This is type of variable. Okay, type of variable or data types. So this is n fact. This is our n. So we can have n equal to 5. So in this case, we cannot have 2. So just remove one of them. So here just integer f and m, and here n. So when we run the program, it will give the output for n factorial. Yeah. In this case, disadvantage is that each time you want to find the factorial, you have to run the program. You have to run the program again, run the program and change here, and then run again, compile again, and then after you run, we need to change here again for different factorial. So you have to do it one by one. Okay. So normally when we do this, when we have a constant value for the entire program, then normally we put that one. Okay, or we define as that. Okay. Then this is all the syntax that we need to do. Okay, variable name, we give the value. Of course, in front here we need the type of data type. Okay, all these are example. Okay, now here is example. Okay, full example of how do we declare and we use. So in this case, okay, this is a full program. This is full program, a simple one. So in this case, we declare integer as a sum. Okay, sum as an integer. Sorry, money as a floats. Letter, character, pi, double. So if you look at when we give the value to those variable, we give value to those variable. Since our sum is integer, so sum value 10, money with that because money is floats. You can see that. Okay. Floats means for real. Letter. This is the way we define character, letter is equal to with that what you call those thing, inverted comma. All right, and pi doubles means it can goes up to 16 digit. I think it depends on the system that you have. Sometimes goes to 16, 14 digit, even higher. Okay, so this is we write in terms of exponential form. Okay, and then this is printf. When you compile, it will give you the outputs. So this is the purpose of, if you look at here, we have standard IO h. This include the predecessor. So it's tell that without this, if you write printf, the compiler will give you error when you compile your program. Okay, so this standard IO means printf, all this thing is the develop a function in C. So it's already there, you just need to call it. Okay, so and then here we need those inverted comma, that value of sum equal, and here because sum is of type integer, so this percentage and D stand for when you write, when you compile, you run it, so those sum will be written here. Okay, if you write this thing here, for example, yeah, if you write this thing here, then the value of sum will be that. Okay, for float we use F, for letter we use C, and then for double, which is E, because we write double in terms of exponent. So the output of this, if you compile, this is what you have. Okay, so sum of value, look at this, your program, value of sum, so we have written value of sum equal to, so sum, because sum is given the value 10, so written 10 there. Okay, and then for money, we were given 221, 2.21, so here written 2.21000. You can see how many decimal places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 decimal places. Yeah, 6 decimal places. And then for letter we have A, so written A, and then value of pi is written in terms of exponent, because we want to return as an exponent. You can see here. Okay, this is the initial value. Done with that. For the initial value, we can write that way. Okay, and then we can define as well. This is how we define a constant value, yeah, that we're going to use for the entire program. This value won't change anymore. If you change, the system will give you error. When you compile, it gives you error. Okay, and this is an example of using constant value. So we define pi, so without equality here, you can see pi. So we can use, when you use pi, you can just use, so you will take this value 3.142. Okay, so I think I stop there for the moment. I will continue with the other video, but up to now I hope you have an idea how to declare the variable when we do the programming. Okay, you understand what the variable is, you understand what type of variable is, you understand how to use those variable. That's what I hope. Okay, so with that, I thank you.